All right, King, we've got to get this in here because it's important, and we appreciate these guys, the sponsors. We've got Jimmy's, our friends at Jimmy's, been with us all year. They're great, Wild Construction. But how about our friends at Cub? What do you got for them?
Well, hey, man, we got a road game coming up here on Tuesday night, so what a great opportunity to head over to Cub. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I think it's going to be nice on Monday anyway. I would get the grill fired up, clean it off. There might be a nest in there like there was in mine the other night. You got to make sure you got the propane tank. Head over to Cub, get some slaw, get some Cub pub burgers. Some of them have jalapenos in there, cheese, bacon built right into the beef. You got the liquor stores in some of them. You can get some THC if you're as stressed out as Joe O'Donnell. You can get some seltzers, some beer, whatever you need. They deliver if you just want to post up at your house, Grubhub style. So check out Cub, our neighborhood grocer. They're going to take us home. They're going to help us break the mold. And Aquarius.
If you have mold,
yes,
call our friends at Aquarius.
Nice job.
They have all of the things to help with that. No, actually, Aquarius Home Services has their huge blowout sale, and next weekend, actually it's 2 weekends from now, but it's May 2nd through the 4th. I'll be there Saturday the 3rd, or maybe not, because that's supposed to be Game 7. We've
Hopefully
got to talk
not
about that. Hopefully not. We need Wild.
Are you in like a dunk tank? Like, what should people
There might be a
expect?
dunk tank there.
What are you going to be? Like, if someone went there, they're like...
I'm probably going to be at the pig roast because the food
Okay.
is dynamite. The French fries are really good. So if for no other reason, swing by there for the food. They also have great deals on all their filters and everything else. They've got 30% off of heating and cooling systems, water treatment systems. Again, they're your trusted partner on all your home services and needs, whether that be your water, your cooling and heating, plumbing, drains, electrical, you name it, they've got you covered. All kinds of fun stuff there. They've got a tent out back, fun activations. Like I said, the pig roast. It's their best sale of the year, so make sure you get there. They're in Little Canada off right by that Dock 86 off of 694 kind of. So look it up, Aquarius Home Services, earning the right to be recommended. They're fun too. Make sure you get there the weekend of May 2nd through the 4th.
Come see carts.
This is Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast. Did you guys see this? This is unbelievable. What is that all about, Kinger?
Get in here for the real thing. Like, let's get weird.
Maybe I blacked out trying to figure out what was going on.
Doubt, worry, fear, because that's what we're breaking the mold on here.
Welcome to Wild on 7th, presented by Pilot Games. We're here until it's here.
Welcome back to Wild on 7th. As always, presented by our friends at Pilot Games. Yesterday afternoon game actually set up well to grab one of their tablets, whether you're before the game, grabbing one, getting amped up to watch it, or post-game, really to have a drink at the bar and kind of digest what...
Process
all of that. But Pilot Games, make sure you play, because when you do... You're not the only one that has a chance to win. Your community wins too. Kinger, last night the Wild had a chance to do something they've never done before, and that's take a 3-1 series lead. And I think they played well enough too.
Yep.
It's and I think this game, you break down the series right now, and the underlying data kind of has Vegas kind of probably
laying in the weeds.
Yeah,
had less of the good bounces. Trending back to them.
And that's why Cassidy really hasn't shuffled his lines or panicked. And he's had quotes saying, like, I don't want to do these things. I'm not going to yank Aiden Hill for Game 4 because he got pulled in Game 3. He said that stuff's more just like trying to create a spark. We've done good and we've played well. We just haven't got the bounces that the other team has. So he kind of doubles down. And I think that was really the difference in yesterday's game. And it's the series. Both teams have won a game. The Vegas wins Game 1, Wild win Game 2, and then the Wild kind of win Game 3 on bounces and some missed referee calls, and then Vegas doubles down on that, and it's crazy how quick it happened for them, but they got the very same result in Game 4, where they get a couple of bounces and the referees help them out a little bit. Now we've got a series tied 2-2.
Isn't it amazing you can work that hard for that long, and sometimes it comes down to a failed clearing attempt, or a puck just bounces off your blade in the corner, hops over another guy's stick. I mean, it's just, there are hockey gods, right? It's funny, when we were winning earlier yesterday, I wrote in my notes for today, this is pretty Minnesota. I wrote, God might love us, because things were happening in our favor. We were consistently getting the bounces, but I still felt the need to put might love us in there because you just don't know. And it turned. All of a sudden, Vegas had, if you think of their coach, right, and all the things he's been saying, he probably feels like a fat cat right now, running back his goaltender. The couple bounces come their way finally, and they're packing the plane heading back to Vegas.
I mean, it worked out for him. I don't know that he made all of the right decisions. Like, he kind of held strong on his lines, on the goaltender. Now, the goaltender didn't play great again. I think he got better as the game went on.
Got early.
It was shaky, wasn't it?
Early, I was taking such joy in watching Cassidy on the bench and watching Aiden Hill. When a goalie's plugging their rear end with the glove, I mean, there's nothing better. When they're looking backwards after every shot, they're making sure, they didn't.
Or when they're also when they look like they're sure it's in their equipment and it's not.
And he was rolling so deep in the net, like he was so deep. I'm like, this is great. This guy has full PTSD. Their coach is going to eat his whiteboard. They're so frustrated. It's all happening. We're rewriting the script. And then it just changed. But I do want to get into
tough, and it's a tough start. Tough start for Hinostroza too. The guy comes into the
I know.
series.
It was almost like you didn't understand the assignment. Like, we're doing the New Testament, dude. we're not
Listen to the podcast.
We're doing the New Testament, man. Are you Vinny, this is not what we're doing. We're like turning the other cheek. Oh man. I was like, that's our guy. And he took one right off the shoot. And that was a bummer. I mean, no shade on Vinny. It happens. But I
think we got to talk about that power play, because that whole sequence is unfortunate for the Wild. And I don't know how Vegas did it, but I think it was Vegas that did it. So they end up getting the power play goal on that, and then they take a 1-0 lead, and still. Now, whoever has scored first in this series has won. Last game finally had a couple of lead changes. No game prior had a lead change. But Eichel had been quiet. Stone had been quiet.
Your distaste for Jack Eichel comes from the broadcast, clearly, by the way.
Well, he has. You think about it.
I know.
94 points on the year.
I'm not saying you're not being professional. I'm just saying it's simmering beneath the surface. And there's Jack Eichel again, trying to go 1-on-4 into the zone. That seems to think that play is going to work. It hasn't all series. I mean, it's just, I think he's injured. I've never seen a guy. He is so perimeter. Like, he is not going anywhere where he's going to trade pain. He's got to be hurt.
Well, and so he played, gosh, what was it game? Like, I'll be off a game or two maybe, but he played game like 76, 77, 78, and then took off 3 games.
Yeah, I think he skipped 5 games of the last 6.
Was it 5 of the last 6?
That's what Joe said. I'll trust Joe.
He played the very last game, so he had no points in the 4 games prior that he played, came back for the game 82, scored a goal, and then now hadn't had a point in 3 straight. So he had 1 point in 8 games, and it was a goal in the season finale. I think over that stretch, too, he was like -8 total. He's been -10. He's been a minus in every game except for that season finale. He was a +2, but he was -10 over the others.
Didn't Cassidy switch the line yesterday, though?
So he ended up switching the line.
Yeah, where he had him, he split up him and Stone, right?
He put Carlson with him. So William Karlsson actually has looked like he's been Vegas's.
He scares me.
Yeah, he's got like the most pop on Vegas. And yeah, Cassidy went with those two. But I think in the attempt to get Jack Eichel feeling better about themselves, he gets the secondary assist on that power play goal. He didn't initially have it. They switched it, and I don't know how he ended up getting it, because he makes a pass, it gets deflected, it goes all the way up in the air, like hits the wall on the other side. They pick it up, go in.
You're saying he walked down to the scorer's table?
I don't know if it was him.
Help my boy.
I don't know if it was him, but I think Vegas understands that they need him to get some confidence and feel good. So we get the update at the first intermission that scoring change on Vegas's first goal, Jack Eichel is going to get the secondary assist on that. So now at least he has a number on the board.
They got a guy in Vegas going frame by frame through the video, sending a note to the league. Yeah, they might. I want to ask you about this because the thing that drives me crazy, and we'll get into the post-game interviews that the reporters do with the guys, which I think plays into the psyche of Minnesota. But this whole thing about looking at everything through history makes no sense to me because every game is completely different.
Yeah.
So we'll have 17 shots and then we'll have 30 shots. There's no penalties, then there's 10 penalties. There's no lead changes in the series, then there's like 17 lead changes.
Yeah, no penalties, then there's penalties.
So to me,
powers.
It's a roulette wheel. It's 1 out of 36. Pay no attention to the numbers on the rectangle digital board because they actually don't mean anything. It doesn't matter if there's been 3 red 17s, and it's so I don't really buy into. It's like every game is almost its own canvas. Like it starts to play out in real time, and I think this town is so fixated on the past. You've never, when you've been up 2-1, you've never done this before.
Yeah.
And to me, it's so meaningless. It's like if I said to you, Ryan, what's the date today? April, whatever it is, 27th. Last year on April 27th, you stubbed your toe when you got the mail. Why should I believe that you will not stub your toe today going to
or what should I do? Wear shoes the entire day?
It's insane. It's insane. Let it happen, people.
I think the point you're making.
Let it happen.
The point
doesn't
you're making
matter. That's not the same team. It's not the same opponent. It's not the same day. I think it brings us all down.
The other way to look at that is the law of averages will eventually play out, right? So if you're at the craps table, or not the craps table, what is it, roulette, and you're going red black, and you get 10 reds in a row. Yeah, you need a super large sample size for it to bounce back out and go like 10 blacks in a row. That might not happen in the moment, but if you have a huge sample size, it's going to average out to 50-50.
And the sample size in roulette is all the times the wheel's been spun.
Exactly.
And it's 24 hours. It's spinning all day. And what I'm trying to say, Karts, is the 2 green, the green 0 and the green 00?
Yeah.
That's the attitude Minnesota's fan base starts to have.
Well, and
we're going to change the script. It's not about the past. Let's get in the green. Let's bet on the green, the 0 and the 00. Because let's break the mold.
And I think what you're actually saying is you can guess that if there's 10 reds in a row, that a black has to be coming based on the law of averages, right? But the probability
is
that
1 out of 30. It's half.
That next roll is red or black. What happened in the past does not matter.
Does not matter.
The last roll doesn't matter. The last 10 don't matter. The last 20 do not matter.
Is it great that we're getting wisdom from a roulette wheel playing Vegas?
The probability that next one comes out red or black is 50-50. Now, I know they have the green, but for argument's sake, it's 50-50. Or in that one, it would be 49-49, whatever it is, right? The probabilities are the exact same. But you think, well, this has happened in the past, so it's going to change. It doesn't. It doesn't change the probabilities of that roll. I think that's the point you're making with this game.
But I think
despite what's happened in the past, this game still has to be played.
And what I'm trying to say is I think you get a little losing on you. This town puts a little losing on you. Whether it's the fans being quiet.
Yeah, what is – they've never had a 3-1 lead say. What are they actually saying?
Well, so all of it.
We've never
given up a third period lead ever. And everyone in Minnesota goes, well, I wish Anthony didn't say that.
Exactly.
Because now we're going to lose for the first time. You could almost turn to your wife and go, honey, you should stick around. We're going to lose the first third period lead of the whole season. We've never done it all year. Gary Anderson's never missed a kick, honey. Why don't you sit down? Right. And I got a spot for you in the fetal position right in front of the couch after this. It's a bunch of bullshit. And whether it's a quiet crowd waiting and seeing, or I'm telling you, I watch these. One of the things I do for this podcast is I watch the post-game interviews diligently. And I watch body language and these questions these guys get asked after the game. And I know they're not getting paychecks anymore. The fact that somebody doesn't throw their gear or the restraint you have to show when people are basically asking you over and over again, like, you guys have always been losers. Give me one reason why this time you're not going to be. And then when they answer the question, they ask the exact same question veiled in a different way. It's insane. And I think that little 1% that you get from that tight sphincter I just think it makes a difference, man. We didn't have that. Once Boldy scored that goal in Game 3, you could feel the whole fan base be like, you know what? I know I've been hurt before, but I'm in. I'm diving. I'm not wearing my helmet. I'm going bucket off and I'm in. But it's just right beneath the surface, that Minnesota factor.
Yeah, and do you think, and the other side of this coin is, do you think Vegas fans were like, here we go again, we're the better team, we're going to lose this playoff series when they lose Game 3?
No.
Exactly. There's no panic.
They're like, we'll be fine.
There's no narrative like, oh, here we go again. This is going to be like 2000. Now, their history has been different, but also it's like, why? Why has it been different?
Well, Vegas has the exact opposite of us because they were born into this expansion era that before they figured out how to, after they figured out how to rig the deck. And they've just, remember when they went on the run year 1 and they were getting so much hate on social media because they were like, is this how you're supposed to do it? Are you supposed to get to the Cup final? Is it supposed to be this easy? So they definitely have the opposite baked in. They expect to win, where we're worried about losing.
And what's the difference, though? Well, it's what comes first, the chicken or the egg. But when they expect to win, they win. They've made the playoffs 7 of 8 years. Cassidy, I think, has made it to the second or third round in 6 of the 9 years that he's made it to the playoffs. When you win, you win. When you believe, you believe. The guy stuck to his guns. And to your point, I think people need to just get it on board with it.
And the only way it gets fixed is there's going to be a group of guys, the girls have already done it in this state, let's be honest, but there's going to be a group that's just going to, it's not going to be the fans. We don't have time or money to take every single Wild fan and do some sort of therapy session.
Other couch session.
We don't have time for that. So some team's going to break through. Some team is just going to show them that it's going to be okay, and they're going to start trusting again. But that's what it's going to take, and it could be this group. I definitely sense us against the world. I really liked Hines' post game yesterday. He was just like,
love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
We're right where we want to be. And he's kind of saying, all of you, if I would have told you it'd be 2-2 after 4, you would have been thrilled. And we are. And we got a good hockey team. We've played well in every game, which I believe is true. And we'll take our chances. And he was great. Anything they were trying to catch him on, whether it was Zeev or this, they were just putting banana peels down everywhere, and he was just throwing the banana peels out the window. They're biodegradable, by the way. But I thought Hines' attitude was absolutely right. So if he's given that to the boys in the locker room, I think that's a good thing. We should get into the actual game, not the psychology, but I just think it's a real factor.
Well, it's totally a factor. But
Billy has to know it too.
It's a factor in the series. It's a factor in the game. It's a factor in the way they play. Go look at overtime. There were times where in overtime I felt the crowd could have just been on it, cheering,
So it was really silent.
Dead silent. Everybody standing up, dead silent. You could hear a pin drop.
Oh my God.
And it was nerve wracking, but the overtime, it felt like safe hockey a little bit.
Yeah. You were both teams though on that.
Yeah,
right?
both teams.
Yeah. But
that's where home ice advantage now, and that's been another thing so Wild take a game in Vegas. Now it's a best of 5 series. Wild have home ice advantage. I think we can stop talking about home ice advantage because both teams have taken a game. They've split at home. So I don't buy into Vegas has the advantage at home now. They've got 2 games. It's a best of 3 series is what it comes down to. They've got to play 2 games in Vegas, 1 in Minnesota. But so we'll see on that.
No, so let's get into some of the positives from yesterday. And I was just thinking of some guys I don't think we've talked that much about Foligno. We've talked about some of the other guys, but this guy, between Hartman and Moose, hashtag playoff guy, they can get the tattoo. I'm fine if they get a permanent tattoo, hashtag playoff guy on their biceps, because I've seen enough in the body of work to know it's there. Moose with, he's 8 hits a night. He's playing to contact. He's doing things offensively. I continue to, and Spurgeon, this guy's plus minus is, if you buy into that stat, has been the best in the league. He basically does a carbon copy of the Faber wraparound against Dallas. Mm-hmm. By the way, wraparound goals, Like, they're not a thing.
They are now, though.
I know. I just don't. I've just watched, even in youth hockey, when someone tries a wraparound, you're like, come on. No one scores on a wraparound. And the captain just, his mustache is kind of looking good, too. Like, I was just really loving Spurgeon doing that. And then I thought it was going to get taken away, for sure. Kirill's he's interfering, but he's getting pushed into him. But I don't really know how that works. I don't think anybody knows how goalie interference works. So I'm at home like, this is coming back. I mean, he hit the goalie. Even if he got pushed in, I don't know how they decide this. And then we got it. And
or they didn't challenge.
Oh, is that what happened? So I was so
here's how that.
Why would you not challenge that?
Here's how this whole scenario plays out.
He gets
the referees
blasted
take some time at the box to look to see if the puck goes underneath the net because
it was popping up. Yep.
And sometimes that happens where it goes underneath, like where the net had popped up. So the refs are just making sure that doesn't happen. And then Vegas, I think, realizes they're looking at that, but
they're seeing their guy push.
Oh my gosh. We might have a challenge here on goaltender interference, but Cassidy doesn't want to make the call that fast, so he calls his timeout to get 30 more seconds to be able to look at that, because as soon as that puck drops, he can no longer challenge. Well, they get a good long look at it, they discuss it, and then he decides he doesn't want to challenge. And I actually think that that was a coin flip. If not, maybe Vegas is.
I don't know. No one knows how it works, so you might as well. But then you get the penalty, right?
So that's what he was afraid of,
and that's no good, especially with that. I want to get into the top line because I don't know what was different yesterday. They didn't show up on the score sheet, which was kind of shocking. But
but Vegas. So they were afraid of the power play. So he thought that his team was playing well, and he didn't want to rob his team of the ability to just put this behind them and play on.
That's been his tone the whole series. I will not panic. I will assume that things will work out for us in the end. I hope it bites him, but that's been his attitude the whole way.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. That's entirely been his attitude. Like,
we're the better
almost
team.
Arrogance.
Yeah, we're the better team. I'm not changing my goalie. I guess he changed the lines, but this will, when in a 7-game series, you'll see it'll work itself out.
And you do hear a lot of coaches say that. Like,
he's really doing it, though. I mean, he's had a lot of opportunities where other coaches might have, had been more involved. He's kind of had quiet feet.
Yeah, and coaches will say, like, in a 7-game series, more often than not, it's the better team that wins. And Cassidy believes that his team's the better team. And analytically, they've had the better of the play. If you look at shots and high danger chances for, what they haven't had is the finish and the ability that top line that you're talking about has had, and they've been the difference makers.
Yeah, no, and what did you see from, because I was, obviously I had this fever dream of Kirill's birthday, and I still thought he was going to get the overtime winner, and it was all going to work out in some sort of painting in the Louvre, but they got held off the score sheet, and this has been the engine that's driven the Wild for the first 3 games, this Boldy, Eck, Kirill line. I was looking in the stats. Eck had a lot of shots, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing based on how the other 3 games have played out. Not as many for Kirill, and so I was just, did they do something different against them, or is that just a function of, hey, it's 4 games, not every game you're going to score 2-3 points?
Well, I think it's probably more of that. I don't know the shot numbers for Boldy and Kaprizov off the top of my head in the first 3 games. But both those guys have been shooting at an incredible clip. Like, they're both at about 50%. Like, half the pucks they throw towards the net are beating Aiden Hill. So I think, again, if you're playing the law of averages, that's not going to happen every single game. And Vegas now, too, I don't know that they changed anything. They've not, to your point on Cassidy, kind of not really caring. They've not been like, hey, we're going to just entirely focus on shutting this group down. And it's surprised me to a degree how little hate there is in this series and how unwilling Vegas is. Like, look at all the other series.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's like people like,
there's animosity.
Matthew Tkachuk oh my goodness.
Or you go Washington and Montreal. There's a fight in the bench. Like, everywhere else you go, there's hate. And there's like playoff type of antics going on. This series has not had playoff antics at all.
It's analytics. It's like, hey, The data suggests
Right.
if we play 7 games that we will win the series. So let's play 7 games or whatever it is. It's the opposite. That's why at times, to me, it has not looked like
Playoff hockey.
I know there's been multiple games, including game 1, where I'm like, this doesn't feel like a playoff series. Like I don't see someone, crawling the glass to fight a guy in the crowd. Playoff hockey is kick someone down the basement stairs. You just haven't had that.
I think what this series is teaching me is how much a coach and a coach's mentality and approach kind of does affect the team, or has like an underlying tone current to what they do on the ice. Vegas, the least penalized team, I think they had 187 during the regular season. That set an NHL record for fewest times short. And then 197, that was I think the number of times that they were on the power play. That also set a record. Those two numbers might be flipped, but nonetheless, under 200 for both their special teams in terms of opportunities. And those are NHL records, right? Like they're unfazed, this group. They're like emotionally uninvested. They're like methodical. They just roll it out, and they're like machines. We play. And a lot of times I think playoffs come down to emotion and desire. And right now I think they're getting it from Moose. And I think you brought Marcus Foligno up, and he is a playoff guy. We're seeing that he's a playoff guy. And I love that in game 3, he takes a couple of penalties, but he didn't change his game going into game 4. Like, he's still effective. He just took the stick penalties out of his play. He could have said, oh man, we're not rolling it back to Dallas, where he had like 40 penalty minutes in 6 games. He's like, that wasn't my best. We won the game. I'm staying out of the box in game 4. And he did, but he still, like, the hit he had on McNabb, those are the types of hits that change you for the rest of the series.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the double helix of DNA separates on that one. Like, I would never want to get hit by Marcus Foligno, ever.
I want to know, too, how Marcus, like, everybody he hits just, like, explodes.
Well, I think he's made...
There's guys bigger than Marcus that don't get guys to explode like that.
I think Marcus's bone density... there's Kevlar in there. I think he's just a harder guy. Isn't that what his dad told you?
Well, his dad did tell me.
He said, you don't fight Marcus. But wasn't the second line, his fists are so hard?
No.
I made that up. I've been telling people that. Sorry. Hey, I'm looking at these shots because I think we're uncovering something here potentially. So I'm looking at the first line's shots in the other games, and I think there might be something here that's meaningful. So
they drop in game.
So this is very interesting. Okay, so yesterday, look at us being like nerds, right? Okay, so yesterday we had.
Hey, we're not going to play into Cassidy's hands. We don't need these numbers.
Okay, well, we had 9 shots from the top line in last night's game. By the way, game 3, I was there. Pretty fun. 17 shots from the top line in game 3. Game 2, we also won.
No, these are attempts, not total shots.
These are shots.
Attempts.
This is S, whatever S is.
These are on goal.
6 and then 7. So the 2 games we lost. So it would appear now there were a lot of power plays in game 3, right? There were 5 penalties.
Yeah.
So seems like top line shoot the puck. It seems to be a good strategy.
Yeah.
If I'm going into the Cassidy numbers vault, it would suggest that if you want to have a party on 7th Street, grip it and rip it, big boys. I do want to talk about the other 2 big boys. This Brazo, I think I'm learning how to say his name right. Apologies to all the listeners. And Trenin.
You know who else butchers all their names is Cassidy. He called him Kaprasov the other day.
Oh, that's intentional for sure. But I was on my phone during the whole game trying to find a metaphor for Marco Rossi playing between these 2 giants, and all I could think of was like bookends, the 2 big bookends, and then the paperback in the middle. But I couldn't find anything that was good. But the fact that all season people were like, well, we got them for the playoffs, and we didn't even know if we were going to make the playoffs. And everyone's killing how they skate or this or that. And they have been an absolute treat to watch. These guys working, and all of a sudden the skill is at a different level from these. Trenin is like going to be in the skills competition in the All-Star game. He's almost like Billy might have to be like, hey, Yak, you got to still get 8 hits, dude. I know, like, you're feeling it right now, like you're playing with your yo-yo and your kendama, but, like, please get 8 hits, like, stay who you are, because he's got to be feeling himself like he's spinning, he's going behind the net, taking pucks from guys, doing backhand passes, and then having Rossi with them. As far as DJ Hines goes, what a interesting idea to put this, someone having a little bit of a confidence issue, that is a good player, and was very consistent the first half of the season. Giving him the Twin Towers is amazing, just to put him out there with that. And he kind of floats around in space, lets them work the puck off the walls, and sometimes he just gets to shoot it into the net. It just comes to him like pinball. I've enjoyed the fourth line quite a bit.
Yeah, they've been, tremendous. Brazeau, think about Game 4 alone. Maybe from this we transition into the referees, because man, that they've made some.
Yeah, I got to get into that, because if some of you listeners,
but the fourth line,
watching on TV, I don't really know. I didn't have the hate, so everybody that went to the game texted me, the ref screwed us. That was all the text I got. But when I was watching the broadcast, I was kind of like, I heard the crowd chanting about the refs the whole time, and I'm like, what am I missing here? I didn't really see it, but I want to get into that with you.
Yeah, so to finish, the fourth line has been great. Trenin all of a sudden looks like 9.7. Like he's got Kirill vision. He gets the puck. He spins around.
That's like somehow the best backhanded compliment ever. No, he's been good, man.
He's been unbelievable. Like on the forecheck, he gets Nick Hague, and public enemy number 1 hits him, takes the puck away, throws it out to Rossi. Every puck is like flat again, like right where it needs to be. And it's the decision making too. Like you think about that whole sequence, makes a big hit, picks up the puck, and then throws it on Rossi's tape. Not just like to the net front, like a garbage pass, like it's on his tape. And then Rossi, a little chip shot over the shoulder. But Trenin too, breakaway. And makes a great move to the 5-hole, almost beats Aiden Hill. You see that one?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just listening to a stranger in the closet clearing his throat.
Yeah, and then
Radio Joe will be sneaking in here in a moment. But no, they both. I think it's Brazeau. I think, but they're the little stick plays on the wall, high skill, even a little pivot and pass, backhand and stuff. I mean, they're playing at speed. They're playing with contact, and for whatever reason, their game is elevated in the playoffs. It is what they said.
I think they're bringing a little bit more, but also think about physically what they have. And Vegas is what they're good at is defense. They've got the big D that play physical, and they've got like this zone. You can't get to the middle, but what that group is able to do with Trenin and Brazeau are win board battles and get those guys out of position. And then now they're making plays while they got Vegas's defense out of position to the slot where they can't recover in time. And Marco Rossi's right there to collect the puck and put it in the net.
Trenin has a little, when he's playing at that level, it's a little moose-like, where he's big, he's hitting, but he's still he's a power forward. He can do some stuff. And, you can start saying, I don't know if you can count on the fourth line to chip in every game, but it's closer to that than it is just a checking line.
You can if they play like that. And I think that's what Hines was. And if he has any regrets from Game 4, it's not being able to get that line out there.
I know, because of the penalties.
The game script, the face-offs where they were, the icings. Like
I heard you say that on the broadcast. It's absolutely true. The double minor, and we should get into the PK, because it really has been good. I don't know what they're doing differently, but it's become almost a treat for the fan base to watch the PK, because you get a lot of energy in the building. Every single clear is almost like a goal. There's been a real heart for that. Of course, we couldn't make it the full 4 minutes yesterday, but they've been really strong generally compared to the regular season, at least.
They have, yeah. Let's bring in our buddy Radio Joe. He's remote here to talk about a couple of these things. Joe, how you doing, my man?
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me.
Hey, got to get your take on, because I think a big storyline out of Game 4 is the officials and the calls that they didn't make in the Wild's favor. Did you see that they maybe had an off game, or what was your take on the officiating?
I think it was certainly frustrating, but at times it's kind of playoff hockey, right? Like, you just got to roll with the punches. And I look at it like this. Did it feel that the Wild were fighting two teams, essentially? Yes, but they had a power play in overtime, and that's the game. Could have been the series, essentially. They didn't get it done. So I'm not, as much as I'm rattled today, and last night I was randomly dropping 4-letter words while I was sitting watching Amazon Prime, just like I would think about the game for a minute and be like, one of those. I kind of just was like, hey, it's this. We thought if the Wild were going to win this series, it was going to be a long one. And I know that's a cliche when you lose a tough game. And I heard Marcus Foligno say it too, like, well, we knew they're a good team. We knew this was going to be a long series. But the reality is nobody thought that the Wild were going to, beat the Golden Knights in 5. So here we are, 2-2. It's a best of 3. I really like the way the team played the other day. I thought the officiating made it harder on them. I thought it had to be frustrating for the fans and the players. I myself was frustrated watching the game unfold when it felt like the calls were very one-sided. But you got to put that behind you and get ready for T-Mobile Arena on Tuesday. And I think this team will do that. It felt different than a couple years ago. Or 3 years ago when they lost to the Blues. They were so flat in that 4th game with the 2-1 series lead. I don't remember so much the 2023 Dallas game, but they lost by a goal at home. So I don't know if it was really that close or if it was just kind of like, I don't want to say a fake 3-2 loss, but a game where they weren't as engaged. They pushed Vegas to the brink yesterday.
Yeah.
Think
Vegas
about this.
Is on their heels.
Yes. Bruce Cassidy, who we said very machine-like, their team machine-like, late in the second period, so we're 10, almost 11 periods into the series, he finally went, we're in trouble. Put his lines in a blender. He's used both goalies so far. Like the Wild, we said it after Game 3. They have the Golden Knights' attention. Late into Game 4, they really have the Golden Knights' attention. So I think Vegas will get a little lift from the win. They'll feel pretty good about themselves, but I don't think the Wild should be discouraged at all. Like, it's a best of 3, and I'm going to give you a guarantee right now. The Minnesota Wild are not losing Game 6 at XL Energy Center. I don't know if they're going to win the series. I don't know if they're going to be up 3-2 or down 3-2. They are winning Game 6. So this thing's going 7.
Unless they win 5 in Vegas. Come on, Radio.
Yes.
I actually, the thing that was frustrating, and I want to get into the officiating being at home versus being in the rink, because I think you saw it a little different in the rink, but they were so good in overtime. So in the end of the third period, I was like, we got to get to the break. We looked tired and gassed. And I mean, these guys had just been playing so much. Boley had played over a half hour because he was doing all the PK. I'm like, just get to the break. And then when they came out, I really thought they dominated overtime until the goal. I mean, if you were to look at that period, I don't know what the offensive zone time looks like in overtime, but it certainly felt like a period we had largely won. And then we get the bouncing puck at the end, just a total bummer. We started the pod, Joe, by saying, really the past has nothing to do with the present, so you whatever happened against, St. Louis or Dallas, or I think it's just as ridiculous to be interviewing a player and say, hey, last time you played Vegas in a Game 6, Matt Dumba made a big check at the center ice and you forced a Game 7. So obviously tonight you're going to win. Tell us why that play from 2 years ago with a completely different team against a completely different opponent is going to tell us why you're going to win. It's just nonsense. So this is, 24-25 Minnesota Wild, and we got to get it done and break the mold.
So I got to get back to the officiating a little bit, and just
what are the plays that stick out?
The difference in game.
Tell me the plays that are the egregious penalty calls, because I want to tell you from watching it on TV. I want to see if I am reminded that these were grotesque, misses, because I don't remember a lot. But everybody in the building.
That's my point. I don't think it's the refs. I think it's the linesman. So the one is Matt Zuccarello coming through the neutral zone where Stone kind of lifted his stick up a little bit and Zuccarello went down.
He's falling before anything happens.
Looked like a clear cut. Yeah, that one.
He is on his way down before anything happens.
And that one, exactly.
On TV.
On TV, you can kind of see he's on his way down, and Stone didn't do much. So if you reverse that, and if the Wild...
I would have never called that.
If the Wild would have gone short because of that, fans would have been like, that's an unbelievably bad call.
And in the building, I can see how you would think he got...
Because it happened fast.
But he's actually falling before the stick even moves there. So that's a no call.
Let's also go back to the call that Cassidy...
And then you had the Hartman
the chicken wing.
That was awesome. Yeah. And he's just tucking it. And even didn't the ref go like this?
Yes.
Because the whole crowd's yelling at him. I mean, Hartman's crafty, but... Is there anything else you saw doing the broadcast?
I'm just trying to balance it out. Like, I don't think so the referees, the orange band, the guy that calls the penalties, and then the goals for, they didn't have a bad night, I don't think. And I think they called it good. Like, what are you going to do? Not call the double minor on Zeev Bouillon?
The guy's face is in half.
Yeah,
and it's their best player on the power play who can't even play on the power play.
And Hinostroza did high stick, whomever that was. Like, those stick penalties are easy for the referee to call. But hold on, the refs also did the Wild a favor. They didn't call goaltender interference on that one. They call good goal. And then they force Vegas to have to challenge, and Vegas was like, I'm not challenging. Like, I think the referee...
Power play in overtime?
Yeah, they gave the power play in overtime.
I mean, nobody does that.
If we're calling a spade, Waugh takes him down, but it was like after the play was already kind of done. Like, he was on top of him. But I think Eck had his chance to score before that penalty played out. So the referees kind of gave the Wild a power play in overtime. And I don't think the Orange Bands had a bad day, and I don't think they've had a bad series. Who I think have had a tough series are the linesmen. They missed the icing call in Game 3 that leads to the Boldy goal. So that was a game-changing score for the Minnesota Wild. So if we're going to be all over the linesmen, we also have to go back in time, roll it back, and say we've gotten a gift too. That was a gift, right? Well, the linesmen certainly did miss the Brazeau breakaway. That was hands down terrible call, right? That one was bad. He was onside. They should have let that one play out. But I think it's the linesmen that are struggling, that the fans are frustrated with because of plays like that. I think the referees have been okay, not bad. Now, they've missed calls. Like, certainly the Hague cross-check on Ryan Hartman early on, that was a missed call. But both teams have benefited from calls that have gone unmade and missed, and both have suffered from it a little bit.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go at the end. Because there's a lot there, Karts, and I think you touched on. You bring up a lot of good points. It feels like the games that the Wild have won, they've gotten the breaks.
Yes,
they've gotten
the bounces.
They've gotten the calls.
Yeah,
and guess what? Mark Stone plays ping pong off a body in front for a goal, and the Wild feel that they got kind of hosed a couple times. Like, it's been, if you win, you look back and you go, we got a call, we got to bounce. And that's really been the series. Like, even in Game 1, Freddie Gaudreau, did he get interfered with on their power play goal? I mean, Vegas will probably tell you no. John Hines said yes. Vegas wins Game 1. Game 2 was maybe the one where there wasn't a lot of that. But Game 3, the Wild win. And you're right, there was the icing call that Vegas is upset about. Game 4, the Golden Knights win. The Wild are upset about 2 or 3 calls. So, and Vegas got the bounces. So it's that's playoff hockey, dude. You got to turn the page quickly, But I want to go back. There's 2 calls that stand out.
Yeah, go ahead. Go roll back. I do want to say that one was entirely missed. I think that was a missed penalty call, but I think Hertl, a veteran of playoff hockey, knows that in a game tight like that's not going to get called. He more or less on that faceoff. So if you know faceoff responsibilities, like when there's a wing on the wall, it's the center's job to release his center to the D and then go check the guy on the wall. So that would be Stone in that situation. Stone was undefended because Hertl took Ryan Hartman all the way to the net, then tackles him. Stone realizes that, and that's why he throws the puck at the net, gets the carom, and it's in the back of the net. So I do think that they could have called some type of penalty on that one. That one is a miss. The puck ends up in the back of the net, but it did require Vegas to get a very fortunate bounce for it to end up in the back of the net.
That's an amazing play to shoot at the carnage, too.
It is.
Just almost like,
and you
that
walk.
was sweet.
That's his best play of the series, dude.
The
That's
roadkill.
his best play of the series.
Roadkill goal. Yeah, he just was like, I'm going to try this. Yeah, you love
guy with
creative.
A guy with a Stanley Cup and all his pedigree and all his offensive ability. His best play of the series is, banking one off a guy at the side of the net. But it's a heads-up play. I did think both guys were kind of on the replay wrapped up with each other, so that's a tough one. But and I'm glad you brought up, like, as a player, like, you know that this will get called, this won't get called cards, because I want to ask you about a couple of what I felt were cross checks. So Hinostroza, right before the penalty, gets drilled from behind.
Yeah.
He gets up. He's not trying to retaliate. He just gets up and his stick's up here. Like, to me, that's a missed call. But again, you would know playoff hockey better. Not everything gets called. And the other thing that really rattled me was the Barbashev hit on Kaprizov from behind along the glass. I don't know if you guys got to look at the replay, but Kaprizov's head bounces off the glass. It's the Wild's best player, one of the 10 best players in the National Hockey League. The puck's not there. And Barbashev boards him, numbers first from behind. It wasn't much, but it's not a legal play. And that really upset me too, because, they don't protect their star players in this league for whatever reason. And I don't know if Kaprizov was dinged on it. Talking with Kevin Gorg after the game, he didn't think that 97 looked himself. I'm wondering if it's because he got his head bounced off the glass in the second period or first period, whatever that was, and just wasn't able to get it back together after that.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at that one, the Barbashev hit. The cross-check on Hinostroza, I think you make a good point, and that one easily could have been called, and in some ways maybe should have. We see refs like pick and choose when they want to call that one, and I think that's when it can be frustrating too. And to your point on Kaprizov, best player, I think player matters in that spot. Like, if it's Hinostroza, no offense, I'm not throwing shade. They're just like, oh, that's okay. He needs to be stronger on his skates. If that's, a Jack Eichel or something, they might call that one, because it's different. Oh, yeah, that one takes away a scoring chance. And that can be frustrating. And sometimes that drives me bananas when they make calls based on player, not based on situation or the actual act.
I just sent it to you if you want to look at it on the fly, but there was a good angle on Twitter I got from Spoked Z, who he's a big time Wild.
Pass
he's a
that
beauty,
over to me.
And he sent some great clips throughout the game. And I don't know, it was just one of those things where I saw it live and didn't like it. Didn't get a great look replay, like you said, but seeing this version, kind of a TNT reverse angle, little disappointed it wasn't called.
Yeah, I don't agree. What that could incite is a little bit of hate, which this series hasn't had. Like, who's public enemy number one? We talked about this at the playoff primer. Like, there's going to be guys that we hate. Who do we hate on Vegas? Is it Nick Hague?
I think I hate Hurdle. Just his face.
I think at the Mall of America pod, I said it was going to be Barbashev, didn't I?
Yeah, I think I hate him too. Yeah, I think
Barbashev,
and he just had the overtime winner.
Yeah, and he was demoted, so he's like the only guy on Vegas that finishes a hit. So, and that doesn't surprise me. He's the one that hit Kaprizov. Think about it. Has there been another hit laid by anybody on Vegas that you can recall?
Not one that you're kind of angry about.
No, or in general. At no point is Vegas barreling down, forechecking and hitting the D. You haven't seen Spurgeon get hit. You haven't seen Brodian get hit. I mean, Middleton, Faber, you haven't seen those guys get hit.
And I also, it's very easy to hate Mark Stone. Let's be honest. I mean, all he has to do is just step 1 foot forward out of the line, and we're ready to do that. I mean, he could very easily change the narrative on that. I think those are the guys.
I talked about him in that playoff primer, like the way he holds his stick. Have you guys noticed that at all?
He just seems like
and the butt end.
Yeah,
he's a Disney villain. He kind of looks like a prince with that's been twisted. I don't know, man. I think Barbashev, Stone, and Hurdle would be if I had a lineup of faces. And they're all cut from the same cloth somehow. They're all kind of interchangeable. But yeah, I'm down for some more hate. It's part of what makes the playoffs great, in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah. So after looking at that again, you guys don't think it's a penalty?
Nah, it's in the middle of the back, and he's
so many of these are close.
He's so close to the wall.
He lets up. If he doesn't let up, if he goes through it, I
it
think
looks
it's
like a
penalty.
regular hockey play. It's unfortunate.
It didn't extend with. It didn't extend with his arms at all. I give him, he didn't run him through the glass, but I don't like that the puck's not there. It's from behind, and it's who he does it to, really.
Yeah, I get a couple softballs just because we really break down every game. Our anthem singer has been unbelievable.
Yeah, he stepped it up.
Unbelievable. We already have a good anthem singer with Decausemaker where he puts the hand out for Home of the Brave, but he's hitting this note in the anthem. I don't know exactly which line it is, but it's different. It was different in Game 3. It was different in Game 4. So did you notice, was the crowd, before they started standing and went silent, was it great out of the gates, Game 4?
Yeah.
Was it loud? And because that anthem has been killer. And what do we think about the basketball coach, Let's Play Hockey? He was adding some lines.
He did.
It's Game 4. Like, he went off script.
You know what?
He was doing hand
I
work.
like that, though.
Yeah, he was doing
That's
hand
why
work.
they bring you in.
Yeah, I like
Right?
that.
Don't you think?
Hey, Taylor Heisey,
Don't
he
you think
tried
they-
some stuff, hey,
Yeah.
you can get off script. Get off
Right.
the prompter. Did
Yeah,
it
like, that's
work
why-
though? Did it work? Was it good?
Part of the reason. Oh yeah.
Okay, it was good in
Seemed
the
they were
building?
Fired up.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. And I like that. Like, we bring in these personalities or these celebrities or local folks because like you want to see something more than just like, hi everybody, let's play hockey.
Say it with me. I'm kidnapped and I'm filming a video from a center. And no, like it's you got
Blink twice if you're okay.
Yeah, you're there for a reason. Bring yourself to it, right? And I did like seeing him, at least being in the moment. It's Game 4, I think he said, playoffs, and he was doing the hands before they even cut to him. So, good try.
Well,
Good try.
one comment. I fell in love with the guy when he says Minnesota is the state of hockey.
Yeah, he added that in.
When he added that in, I was like, this guy gets it.
Yeah.
You
No,
know, I
he
was like,
was
the
pulling.
basketball coach coming in and saying it's the state of hockey.
Yeah, that's a bold move.
That was nice. I was like, okay.
He's genuflecting, right? He's bowing down to the state.
That's
of
where
hockey.
I had buy-in.
Yeah, good effort. Should we? Do we talk? I think it's a hot button. Do we talk about Mr. Bouillon at all, or +2, by the way, in the game, which was surprising to me when I looked at that. But he's got the stick up, cuts him, and then does not play in overtime. So I mean, young player. He seems like a real confident guy. I can't imagine that affects him too much, right?
No, and it's not. First of all, it's not supposed to be easy, and it's not easy for anybody. Like, not many guys jump in, and it's like you're off to the races, and it's your story's written, and it's easy. Like, not many guys are Brock Faber, and not that
It does give you an appreciation of what
Brock's done.
Yeah, because like even watching it with the people I was watching with yesterday, because he did that, I think some people thought that's how it works. If you're a blue chip college prospect, you just do the Brock Faber thing.
Yeah.
That's just not the norm.
And it's entirely different. Look at physically they're different.
Yep.
And give Bouillon 2 more years. Like, how old was Faber when was he 20 or 21?
He was not 21 when he was on the Wild, so he was a year
He'd have been
older.
20.
He was a year older.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
think he'd have
another-
been 20 because he's
But
22 now.
bigger body. Brock's a thick kid.
Yeah, bigger.
Even
and,
back then.
And one whole year. Like, give Zeev a year right now, and he's going to develop. It's going to be crazy how much better and more mature he's going to be in a year. Now, Brock was playing college hockey, and Zeev's going to be playing professional hockey, so that's different. But that year of development really matters.
And different players.
Yeah, entirely different.
Zeev's he's meant to be this kind of PP1 shimmy shake guy. Brock was a stud defenseman, especially at Minnesota. He was a defenseman first. He ended up scoring all these points for the Wild his first year, but that was not even a thing.
And what would you say about Faber? He's an elite defender, And
Yep. And I think he has huge
and
offensive.
a proficient puck mover. I would say proficient, like he's good at it.
Yeah, and he can skate like the wind.
Yeah.
He can be a one-man breakout.
Elite skater, elite physical, elite defender, proficient puck mover. Like he moves the puck well, but he's not like your walk the blue line, dangle, make a guy miss and move. Like he can make the first pass as good as anybody. Like we saw it on the play from he steps around the net and rips it up right to Brazeau. That was a Faber pass that went 3 zones, right? Like he's proficient at it, but he doesn't do it all the time. He's not like Erik Karlsson or Quinn Hughes or some of these guys. That's what Zeev Buium has the potential to be.
Yeah, I think Brock is like a young Brodin. You know, if you
more offense.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing with Brock. I don't think we know. I think, you know, is this guy a 40-point guy or is he a 60-point guy? I think that script hasn't been written yet. And, you know, he did not do that in college. He wasn't asked to do that in college. So for anyone that's saying, well, the player is the player, look at their body of work, I think we don't know with Brock yet. Brock could still be a big-time offense guy for us as well. And he's been those guys. The shots of when they show Brock after. There's just times where you're looking for the oxygen tank. I mean, these guys are getting worked hard. Boldy last night too. Great on the penalty kill. I mean, it's so unfortunate that they were so gassed when that puck was laying there just to get it out. Like you're just overextended, right? There's moments, even the Middleton one was like a bad break at the end. It's crazy that playoff games come down to these bounces over sticks and bendy clearing chances where your stick turns into a wet noodle. I mean, it's just so unfortunate.
And it's super hard to pinpoint when fatigue enters the equation. You know, like Boldy's great hands on the woggle, which let's talk about the woggle for a second too. That he's got a chance to clear that and just misses it. Right spot, everything was right, just missed it. I mean, some people might be, that's fatigue. I don't know. We don't know that it is or that it is not. Same with the Middleton play. This is what I don't like about Zeev and him not playing in overtime is that now there's this narrative that they were rolling 2D and fatigue is the reason that the Wild lost that game. No, it's not. That's not the reason. The reason is the puck was rolling, and he tried to make a play up the middle of the ice, and it rolled off his tape. That play happens in the first period.
You wouldn't even notice it.
And that's not fatigue. That stuff happens. But now that there's undercurrent of fatigue and bench management, and now can you play Zeev because if you don't trust him in that spot, you're going to be tired, and these guys are making tired mistakes? No. Let me kill that right now. No, that was not a tired mistake. That was a puck that was rolling. It happens all the time. It's hard. That's why you pressure guys. And let's not forget, it was overtime. Like, anxiety is up in that spot too. Like, fatigue did not play a factor in that, in my opinion, at all. So that's like this, like an effect of Zeev not playing that I don't like in this narrative. How about you, Joe?
I like the way you phrase that. It gives a different perspective for me because I was wondering, honestly. No, seriously. I was wondering, honestly, like in my head as the game was unfolding, just like down the line, like if you get the double overtime, does he get a shift or two? If you get even further into double overtime, does he get a shift or two? Or are you going 5 the rest of the way, no matter how these guys are feeling? Couple things on that, on the eventual game winner. Watching it live, you know, I couldn't tell the puck was rolling. You just knew he flubbed the clear, which happens, right? Guys all the time in the neutral zone try and scoop it. If you don't get it perfectly on the tip of your blade, Carts, as you know, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, Kirill had one earlier. Like, there's a lot of
trying
guys
to get over Petrangelo. Hartman tried one at center ice, didn't get it anywhere.
Yeah, their team had a couple of them. They just scored.
When you don't want to ice the puck, you try and just get it high, right? So it happens all the time. The thing that watching the replay back is, and you know, Jake Middleton has been an unbelievable player this year. He might disagree with this. He might want to punch me in the head. I feel like he panicked afterwards. Yeah. Like he didn't get it out. He went to the slot, and rather than just reset, then he tries to slide to block the pass. And once he does slide and block the pass, then it's scramble mode, and he can't help you anymore because he's on his backside. So in hindsight, and again, I don't know this, just my opinion, you got to probably just recover and compose yourself in that split second. But it's overtime. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. You played 30 darn minutes. Like, I get it. I get his reaction was, oh, crap, I got to figure this out. I got to bail out the team. Ultimately, though, I think and even Faber would probably tell you to, in hindsight, you replay that a little differently because Faber was starting to jump up the ice. Then he comes back side of the net. And I just don't think they had the composure in that moment to reset after the giveaway. And I think they'll learn from it. I know it's a small thing and one moment in a game, but I bet you that those players are so good and so determined that the next time something like that happens, they use that as a learning experience.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And it's unfortunate for Middleton that mistake came right inside his own zone versus at the offensive blue line, because we know the fastest a player can skate is when they turn that puck over last man and chase somebody down.
Copyright Zuccarello.
Exactly, right? And Middleton tried to do that. It's the exact same thing. Like, you get the oh shit moment, and he flew out front. Yeah, now hindsight's 20/20. He shouldn't have kicked that boot out and stopped that pass going through the crease because it would have gone wide. But it's also an illustration that, hey, calm down, trust your teammates, because we are built, and when I say that, structure within your defense and in your zone is built where one mistake shouldn't cost you. It's the second and third mistake that start to stack up that creates opportunities for the other team to score. And that's what happened. Middleton made the one mistake where the puck was flubbed, and then it's the second one where he comes flying out, third one where he stops it with his boot, now he's on his pants, fourth one, like he can't get back up, and then it's in the back of the net. So it's a couple of errors. If you can accept that you made one and settle, I think you're in a better spot. I think that's what you're saying.
So this is psycho mode, because I watched the play like 40 times last night.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But I hope
Jake
that
Middleton,
the fans,
we love you. We love your mustache. You're a folk hero. We love you.
I hope the fans, appreciate these like small details of these plays that you guys dive into, because I do. But what's crazy is that I think it was Nick Waugh, after the scramble, right? It hits, so Middleton's down, it hits his leg because he's trying to recover and save the day. Nick Waugh kicked the puck towards the goal crease, like kicked it. Gustafsson stopped it, and then Barbashev scored. I'm not telling you Gus in the moment should have let it go in, but I'm just saying, had that puck gone in, if you watch it, I'm pretty darn sure Nick Waugh kicked it.
Joe, you've somehow turned into more of a Minnesotan than us. Like, you gotta stop doing what you're doing.
But
like,
do you
you're
remember where I
watching
come from?
No, but you just won the Super Bowl, dude.
But this is what we do.
No, do not watch that play
This
over
is
and
what
over
sports
again.
fans do.
Do not. This is no Zapruder tape of Jake Middleton. Like, flush it, brother.
No. I'm not
Flush
mad
it.
at Jake Middleton.
No, but like you are like you're in a you gotta reset. You gotta reset.
Let's also bail Middleton out a little bit here. He's only under the microscope because that was the last goal. Like, there was 3 other goals scored before that, and there's been a bunch.
I'm just
in
saying
the
Nick
series.
Waugh
Like,
kicked the puck.
Yeah,
and had
And
it
you,
gone
and you
in, it
think
would've
Gus
been-
would have let it in because he was
No.
he
I'm
had
not
the
saying that at all.
composure.
No,
he had
no,
the
no.
composure to
I
know.
made that very clear. I'm not saying he should have let it in. I'm just saying he kicked it. Had it gone in, it would have been waved off.
Were the lights out when you were watching Amazon Prime in your house swearing?
They were, actually.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Hey, so I did want to talk about the Waugh goal a little bit. So back to Vegas getting fortunate.
Am I going to be invited back or not?
You got to buck up, dude. We got to change. We got to break the mold. It's just flush it, dude. Bad bounce.
Vegas got some luck going.
Move on.
Yeah. In game 4 too. So Waugh takes Stone's spot on that power play. If we're gonna play this game, we can play it quick.
No, let's not play this game.
Waugh should have never been there.
Stone's getting repairs.
It should have been Stone.
Waugh scores the goal. Yeah,
Waugh
that's a great
scores the
point.
goal. Right? It wouldn't have been Waugh. It would have been Stone. Stone wouldn't have been there.
Kinger, let me ask, are you so, I don't want to say deranged being a Minnesota guy. Like, are you just so used to this that you flush all these little things that quickly?
No.
He doesn't work at it.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm done. I'm done
Or
being
did
a
you
loser.
just sleep better than I did?
No, I'm done being a loser. I don't care what happened in the past. I had an odd sense of calm in Game 3, where I really thought we were going to win, and
Yep. I remember you saying that.
it starts all the way. I felt this actually walking through Tria during camp. I just believe in these guys, and I know you do too. But I don't know. I'm not saying I'm Bruce Cassidy, but like, I don't know. We've played good in every game.
Yep.
we might have played 48% good in game 4 and game 1, and we lost because Vegas was 52%. Okay. But I guess I'm trying to not do the stuff I used to do. And see if it works. I don't know if it's going to work. I still wrote down, you missed this, I still wrote down God might like us when we were up 2-1, and I don't know why I wrote might. I mean, I think it's kind of known God loves most things. So I don't know why I decided to write God might like us up 2-1. Like, that's horrible. But I don't know. I just think I'm willing to see what these 23 gentlemen have in store for us, and maybe they're the ones that flip the script. And Joe, the thing that you probably do this too, just watch post-game interviews when we lose, and just watch the emotional terrorism that the players have to go through because of the history of the franchise. And I just think it's unhealthy. And I'm just trying to figure out, I don't know how you change it. We can't do therapy for 18,500 people. It would cost too much money, but I don't know, maybe it's different this year. Maybe this year isn't last year. It's a thought.
And I do like that approach. I do feel pretty good. Again, it's a best of 3. Had they gotten beaten 5-1 yesterday or 4-0 like they did by the Golden Knights in game 4 of last year's series, or in the 2021 series, like where they prove they're the better team, right? Where they boat race you. Then you come into today going, oh boy. But I to your point, the Wild have played well in all 4 games, and
we have a better goalie. We have a better top line. In most, it's like quarterbacks and coaches in football. That's how I gamble. Okay, your stars have been better and your goalie's better. Okay, I'll take a 3-game series.
What do you think Bruce Cassidy was thinking when the Wild had 2 goals on 7 shots yesterday?
Oh, I loved it. He was
Yankee Doodle Dandy.
he was about to Brendan Duhaime. He was about to eat paper. Like, I mean, he was.
Well, he doubled down on that
was
they're going to get the bounces, and he was like,
I was loving it.
I made a poor choice.
I was absolutely loving it. Between Hill and Cassidy early in that game, I'm like, this is like enjoyable television. Like, we get to watch arrogance play out on the big screen, but then the bounces did come his way in the end.
It felt like Hill got better.
There's still bounces. I don't know, man.
That?
What's that, Joe?
Do you agree that Hill got better as game 4 went along? Like, he made some big saves, and
I think he started to feel better. I made a comment on one. I think it was the Gaudreau shot where Aiden Hill made the stop. And I saw, you saw some pop in his body language finally, like a little bit of confidence, a little bit of boom, got it. I think to your point, maybe from that point on, he got a little better. I still at times saw him like popping at pucks, kind of like jerky movements a little bit, which
he's got the Peter.
I haven't watched him enough to know, but when you watch Gus, it's the puck's kind of coming to him, and he's gloving it. He's not going at it. He's not jumping the blocker at it. And I think there's a little difference there, but I think Hill did get better. Maybe the save of the game was the one on Kaprizov backdoor. I think that saved Aiden Hill's night and Vegas's probably series. So the Wild are up. I think it was 2-1 at that time. Or maybe it was 1-1.
Thought it was 1-1.
1-1 at that time, but it was the Wild were coming, and Eriksson Ek finds Kaprizov on the back door, and Aiden Hill made a pad save on Kaprizov. Yeah. I think the guys that he stopped, the stop that he made, gave his team a little bit of confidence, and Aiden Hill a little bit of confidence.
How about this, though? Joe, you had to be losing your mind when the big yak gets the breakaway.
Oh,
and
I was so excited.
And by the way, so I stood up and... unlikely breakaway candidate, by the way. It doesn't.
No, he's had 5 this year.
I know, but
nobody's catching him. He's fast.
So he goes 5-hole. He's read the game.
Skill play. He didn't shoot. Skill play.
And I almost was 5-hole sliding into the net with the pads. It was so close to being between his legs. I mean, you saw it go in halfway down the pad, and then he closed them. I mean, that to me. That goal goes in, man. That's where it is night and day, especially Trenin on a breakaway goal. I mean,
that was 3-3, right, at that time?
That would have been amazing. That would have been absolutely amazing.
Was that after Spurgeon tied it? I think it was.
It was.
Huss is nodding.
I think it was too. And Aiden Hill had another one of those, Eriksson Ek in overtime or as he drove on the power play or to earn the power play. I don't know how that puck doesn't end up in the back of the net somehow. And Hill has his, like, it's his left pad on the ice, and he has to, like, spin out of it to keep it off the goal line and out of the net. Like, that too is, like, one of those ones where it's like, you see that go in the net, just, like, slowly trickle over and hit the back pad, what feels like 80% of the time. And that one, it didn't. And you're like, how is this game not over? How is it not over? Right?
I think the 5-hole's still open, though. I would keep shooting there based on even those saves. That puck is halfway down his leg pad. I mean, that is an expressway. I would keep, and because there's still a rear view mirror on Aiden Hill. He's still got the Peter Cottontail. He's got the glove on his butt. He's looking backwards. I would just keep trying to shove that thing between his legs.
And I think, Joe, you're making this point too. Going into Game 5, who has the momentum? Vegas won Game 4, but I feel like Vegas is still the team that's kind of like on their heels, reeling a little bit. Like they're the ones trying to tread water and stay afloat, where the Wild are like, we're coming, we're here.
No, I think there's a real solid foundation in the room. Hines is saying all the right things. Moose sounds like Hines's son, right? They're on the same script. Hartman's got the playoff edge you want. I feel real good about let's get into Game 5, by the way. I mean, I expect a really strong effort from the guys. You know, they're going to get a day off here. They got the 2 days before it goes. So for fans, we're going Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is the remaining schedule. That is, I really feel like we're gonna come out real strong in Vegas in Game 5.
I like it. I like that it's a 6:30 start, and back to the hockey gods may be liking us a little bit. You get to start watching.
It actually just says
30 versus.
It says God might like us, which is actually worse.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So it's what, 8:30 start here. That's manageable.
Yeah.
Get your kids and their activities out of the way, hunker down on the couch, and you get to watch the Game 5 in Vegas. I think that's setting up to be good. Obviously, start's going to matter in that one.
The first 10 minutes are always very interesting for the losing team the game before.
Part of me felt, too, in Games 1 and 2, that the Vegas fan base took the Wild for granted. That's why it didn't feel like playoff hockey right out of the gate. I think we'll see in Game 5 if it is just like a corporate fan base that goes there to have a good time, and they have a mild rooting interest, but they're not fully invested. I thought maybe that was the case in 1 and 2. We'll see if it's a lot different Game 5, I think, because the Wild have they've made a statement saying that like, we're here to compete.
Yeah, I think it's funny for the fans. This NHL commercial that's running right now is just, first of all, the NHL does amazing commercials, but this commercial, it takes, and they show all the guys cut and bloodied and having a dream disappear, and then it comes back the next night, and the ups and the downs. It takes, and then finally it gives. I mean, that's the mentality, man. We're on a roller coaster ride. There's going to be ups and downs. But if you trust it and you get a little bit of puck luck, at the end, what do they say? It's not going to be easy. It's just going to be worth it. And that's the Stanley Cup playoffs, man. And we're in it. This is a series. The naysayers would have said, Joe, to your point, this wasn't going to be a series. This is very much a series, and let's win it. You know, what is your predictions? Game 5.
Everybody picked Vegas in 5 games. All the pundits, and
They're
has
all
been
wrong.
Anything but that. And even if you look at the daily lines, Vegas has been favored in all 4 games so far, just like on the Game 3 money line stuff. So the Wild haven't been given any credit by anybody throughout this whole thing, and maybe it even took Vegas a couple games to give them some credit, but they've earned it now. I don't know about Game 5. Like I think Vegas has some momentum because they feel like a sigh of relief. Like they got out of there with what they wanted, right? Which is a split. Now they have home ice advantage. Like it's interesting how, depending on each game, Game 1, if you're the road team and you lose, like, well, we just wanted a split. We got our split in Game 2. Like if you're the visiting team in Vegas, like didn't get Game 3, but we got Game 4. So we got home ice again. Like you can just spin that narrative any way you wanted after each game. It is a race to 4 wins. I think the Wild are still in a really, really good spot. I do like what they've said post-game, Kinger. I agree with that 100%. It feels like the vibe is different. It feels like the belief is there. They know that, a bounce goes their way, or maybe Eriksson Ek is able to push that puck over the goal line. They've got a stranglehold on this thing. Instead, like we said earlier, it's going to be an absolute great finish to the series. The Wild deserve to be in this spot, and I think they're going to come out and play a good Game 5. I'm not willing to sit here and be like, this one is going the Wild's way. Like, I want to see, like you said, how the first few minutes unfold, how the first period unfolds. Special teams are going to play a factor, obviously. But I'm telling you right now, they're not losing Game 6. So if they lose 5, it's going 7. I will. It's the Radio Joe guarantee. Put it on your bingo card.
So where does that come from? Because you've been really good at very specific predictions all season. The more specific you are, the more likely it is to happen. Why Game 6 we're going to win? Is it why it's at home?
Yeah,
home's been a little weird for us. Why do you feel that?
I just feel, because I just think that if they don't win 5, they're not going out in 6. Like, I really believe that. Like,
because they're going to bust that narrative that we're different. They're going to prove that we're different.
Yeah. Yep. Because I could see it now. They lose 5, and the whole fan base, here we go. Told you so. Tom is out there just beating the drum that this is Minnesota and the Wild. They can't do this and they can't do that. And every time this team's been pushed, they have responded. And I also said at the start of the series, I thought the Wild, if they're going to win, we're going to win in 7. And now it's really shaping up like that could be the case. Now, I could be a total buffoon and completely wrong here, and I'll eat it afterwards if that's the case. But I really think that at home, with either a chance to close out or backs to the wall, this team isn't going to go well. It was a fun season. We're good. Like, they have been playing this thing for a different purpose, it feels like, all year from the start of training camp. To your point, Kinger, I really think that they win Game 6 no matter the outcome of Game 5.
What time is Game 6? Is that published?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
I hope it's at 8 p.
So I've got a couple things. I think that over the course of the last couple of weeks, the Wild have been better when they're in negative game script. So when they're behind or they're tied or they're in the underdog position or something, they get better. They start to control pace of play. They
like the back to the wall.
Yeah, they like the back to the wall. If they can find a way to utilize that going into Game 5 in Vegas, start that way, and then keep their foot on the gas, so to speak, if they get the early lead, continue with it. But they've seemed to, and Cassidy keeps talking about it, when they get a lead, they settle back, and they're very hard to play against, and they're hard to generate scoring. But I think that this group has the ability to just willingly take a game. And they haven't done that yet or enough. I think there was opportunities in Game 4 to put the foot on the gas. Go take this game. Let's not manage it. Let's take it. If they can do that, I like their chances in 5. Secondarily, they have to stay out of the penalty box. Vegas gets 2 on the power play. It's the only reason they're in Game 4. 5-on-5, they have not had an answer for the Wild at all. At all costs, stay out of the penalty box. But that doesn't mean don't be aggressive. Still have to be aggressive, win your battles, but they need to check with their feet. And then finally, it's Philip Gustafsson. He's been in the zone, and it's hard to stay in the zone. I had this comment, too, where both goaltenders had different challenges. Gustafsson hasn't been in a spot where he's been the number one star, where he's sitting next to Gorgie postgame, where everybody's saying, hey, Gus, you're the greatest. So he's got to manage that and find a way to still be steady Eddie good in the net. If he is, I think Game 5 is theirs.
All right, here's my bingo card. Game 5. Faber's going to get a point. I just think he's a game situation guy. He's a look at the Jumbotron guy. He knows what's at stake. Been playing well all series defensively, but he's going to chip in offensively. This is kind of a wild card, but I've been watching the frustration on Nyquist. I was at Game 3, and he dropped an F-bomb so loud that I heard it in the suite level, skating back to the bench. I think there's a little Ryan Hartman in Nyquist. He was really good in the playoff series 2 years ago when not many people were. I think he's a playoff guy at heart. I think he's gonna chip in for a point, and I think Zucchi's gonna be the story. I would be fine if we win it in 7, but if this team really wants to change the narrative in this town, let's go ahead and win in 6. And I think Zuccarello will be the guy that doesn't have the baggage, doesn't have the Minnesota BS, beloved in New York, and he's a leader. I think he's going to be a big factor in helping us win 5. So Zucchi, Nyquist, Brock on the bingo card.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you, my man. We're here
Till it's here.